Hey, so today we're going to talk about how to flirt, aka how to obtain third world Gucci. Uh,
How about any world coochie? Because
anyways,
it doesn't matter how
uh,
good. It doesn't matter really.
yeah, I mean,
We'll
it
base
doesn't
stop.
matter,
It's a
but
language
you
barrier.
gotta you,
That's
you gotta
stop.
keep them wanting. You know what I mean? And that's what this topic's about. So you know, we're mainly going to talk about, how to just pick up chicks in a classroom setting or in a social setting that isn't a bar or a club, or yeah, a bar or club.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or what are our
Grocery
go-to
shopping.
techniques, that kind of stuff. Does anybody want to start?
I guess I could start.
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I mean, I flirted with girls plenty of times in a classroom setting, and honestly, it's nothing really like I guess serious. Serious. It's mostly just like, hey, like, do you want to work on this next homework assignment? How you doing? Stuff like that. I tell them a few jokes here and there. So it's just mainly when I'm talking to a girl in a classroom, if I find her interesting and attractive, and I want to talk to her, I really want to get to know her. I will invite her and say, hey, like, do you want to come do this homework with me, or do you want to work on this project together? Like something that is as a simple, nothing that's like too like enhanced or too like a date or anything like that, but it's like a we have to study, see how we vibe and mesh, and if that works out, then pursue a date later. So I guess that's kind of my way of doing flirting in classrooms. Just talk to them in the classroom setting, asking them, hey, do you like highlight the class, stuff like that, getting to know them a little more, then say, hey, look, here's my number. Come like I'm planning to work on the homework on this day. Come, I'll text you. I'm at the library. And then if we gel from there, it's just I mean I'll just ask her, hey, are you free this weekend? I'm planning on going to this one spot. We'll come hang out.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm going to give a setup, right? So you're in class, you see this fine ass chick. You're like, fuck, I want to meet her. But then you're like, how do I do this discreetly? Because it's like you don't want to be creepy about it. You don't want to come off over eager because, like, at the end of the day, she's not there for you and you're not there for her. But it just so happens that your eyes have crossed. So like, if you got a buddy, that's in the class, be like, hey, we should sit up over there. Let them know what's going on, but don't really be too like that excited. But
Yeah.
basically, what you want to do is close the gap. Sit a little
Mhm.
close next to her, not like on top of her, but like sit a little close. And
Not the
then
close bring
like
down the neck.
yeah, like don't be like the Eugenes of the world. Shout out to Birdman.
Shout out to
But
Birdman.
but basically like after that, like pretend you're confused, or if you're actually confused, just ask her, hey, what the fuck did the professor say? And then like, like see her reaction. If she gives you one of those like, oh, what the fuck is he talking to me? Or if she gives you one of those, oh yeah, this, and this, like that's your approach to keep going. So then, like, you just play it safe at the beginning. You don't have to do more than that on the first day, but second day, sit close by. People are going to realize this is your unofficial assigned seat, and maybe that's where the girl's sitting too, if you're lucky. And then after that, just be like, hey, like start trying to talk to her, or just be like, hey, what's your name? Blah blah blah. My name is this, so and so. And then it's like, hey, would you like to study sometime? And if she says yeah, just keep writing and coasting it through. Nothing really that hard. But either that or the second approach is like, I don't know about you, but some of my best friends actually came from office hours. Just
Yeah.
friends in general. And like there's always gonna be a few chicks there anyways. And most of the time if you're one of those like regulars who's always coming in there, you're immediately gonna find somebody to talk to anyways, because like you're always waiting on the professor anyways, because there's probably like five kids in there at any given time. So like that's a good way to break the barrier too. Like if you're uncomfortable doing it in class, you could totally just start talking to them like in that setting, because it's like more of a unofficial like private time. But that's another way to do it. And those usually two are my go-to methods.
I think Benny, he just hit an important point. So yeah, when you first meet the girl, like in your class, and if, for example, if you're sitting near her and you ask her, oh, hey, what did the professor say, like on this slide, or did you get this note? It's important to like see how she responds to you. Like if she just like blows you by and says like, "Oh yeah," like oh he said this, like she doesn't seem like interested in the conversation, then don't push it. But I mean, if she seems interested and like she wants to keep talking, don't be afraid to like plant that seed, and then maybe next time you hang out, as well, do you want to study sometime? Because one thing is really important, and it's especially a big thing with girls from what I've seen in college, um, that they always want somebody to study with, quote
Yeah.
unquote, because study can be obviously talking for hours and hours rather than actually studying. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's a
girls
fair
are
point.
always looking for someone to study with. So you just gotta work with that.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah. Yeah. So my combination is like, at least my approach to this is, but it's been a while since I've done this because I pretty much graduated like 2 years back. So it's maybe a little rusty, but at least when I did, go in for the kill, so to speak, I would pretty much do a combination of what Benny, Brad, and Ivy have said. For the first thing I would do is like, or like, another thing is, if you don't want to come across as weird, introduce yourself first. And I'm like, hey, I'm Amog, I'm from so and so, and where you from, and like build like a sort of connection, and then of course, you ask them that, hey, can I join you? And it's not like, the moment you've broken like the first like barrier where you've just like spoken to them and like explained who you are and stuff, spoken about a bunch of other shit, nobody's going to be in that zone. That it's very rare if somebody refuses, like, oh, there's somebody reserved already over here. Like nobody's going to like reserve seats on the first day of class itself. So that could be like your, that could be like Benny said, your official or unofficial seat. And then you can start asking them stuff like, oh, did you get what the professor said? And like, or you can ask them stuff about like, class, like, oh, so what their courses are, because like a lot of departments have like intermingling of courses. Like there'll be a lot of people, like at least when I was in
You cut out.
and we had people from like,
Repeat that, Mo. You cut out.
yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just speak up again.
Okay. So my master's was in sustainable materials and construction engineering, but we had people from like other departments. Like we had people from like groundwater, and we had like people from coastal, and we had people from like multiple departments, like chemical, which was very strange, but yeah, we did for like certain courses. So like the interaction built, and like that's how I got to know a lot of people, and that's how I got to know a lot of women, and that's how I ended up like building a rapport with them. And I think the first thing is like, here's what I would suggest: break the first barrier is like, introduce yourself to people. Nobody's going to find that strange, and be more confident when you introduce yourself. Like don't fucking stutter and turn into like some weirdo, because the moment you start stuttering, people,
Yeah, that's
like,
when like they're checked out.
yeah, you that checked out again. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we can.
Okay, yeah, like don't like start stuttering and like lose like start sweating and stuff. Like that's just weird. Like people are just gonna be like, yo, what the fuck's up with this dude?
Scott,
Yeah.
good.
So like,
But I mean, I think from that, like even expanding from a classroom, let's say you're in the library. I think the library is a pretty good setting. Like if you see somebody giving you the eyes, like it could either mean one of two things. I think guys get too excited. Like you're in a library, so they could just be looking behind you. I think that's like number one. But in the off chance that somebody really is truly staring at you, I think you'll catch them again. And if that's the case, you're bored as fuck. You might as well just go talk to them. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's like just be like, hey, what's up? And then like like, or if it's somebody like you have those people, right? Or like for some reason you see them everywhere, but you don't know them. But then it's
mm-hmm.
like, then you see them at the library, and you're like, huh. And then for some reason they still stare your way. That's just an easy way to break the ice. Be like, hey, I think I've seen you in my class before. What's up? I've had like a lot of people come up to me and do that. And it's not anything weird really, because I think most people in the library like while they're studying they also like want a break from everything they're doing. So just as long as you don't overstay your welcome, like I think you're gonna be fine.
And
Oh yeah.
this is actually one of my favorite. I'm gonna get to you, Brad. This is
Oh,
one of my favorite ones when you're like hanging with a friend, like hanging with a really good friend, and then the friend you're with is like, "Hey, meet my other friend," and it's somebody from your class. That's like
Yeah,
and say it's like, "Oh yeah, I've seen you before in class." And usually that's how like a lot of things
yeah,
happen.
that's how
And
you
then when
meet
you
more.
see them in class, like the next day, it's like, "Oh yeah, you're like this guy's friend." Like, so
It's
that's
the
Yeah,
it's the how it's like the How I Met Your Mother thing where it's like, hey, have you met, and then you introduce your friend that way. So that works all the time, and I use that all the time. But like it's also like, here's the thing: you're not always going to be surrounded with your friends. Sometimes you have to go in for the kill alone. So always, like, this is my attack style. You guys can do whatever you guys. We've given you 4 different perspectives on how to do things.
mhm.
My attack style is pretty much just introducing myself, and since I have a lot of confidence in myself, this is the way I play it, that I go and introduce. But sometimes it's good to have friends with you, so if
Yeah.
you have friends with you, end up you know going with
no,
them.
I mean,
But
I think the
anyways,
friend thing is like important because like if you're in a class setting, you just don't want to come off as a loner, like unless you
yeah,
generally don't know anybody. But it's like I feel like girls are more aware than people like give them credit for in a lot of sense. Like I think they can kind of tell when a guy's just like, oh, I'm sitting next to her because she's cute. Like like so that's the thing. Like, but if you have a group of friends, it's a bit different because it's like, oh, y'all are just sitting in this area and you're not by yourself. Like, and that was kind of the point of what I was saying. Like, it's like don't necessarily like sit super close to her, but like if you're like a chair or two away, it's a perfect opportunity for that. And then like or
yeah,
something like that. But I
I
think
mean,
it's whatever.
to go on with what you guys are saying, I mean, if you're all by yourself sitting next to a girl, and become off genuine, that's one of the biggest things. I feel like a lot of guys tend to not do a lot of times. It's just like they think because hey, she's cute and she's giving me the eyes a couple of times, she's clearly interested. Not as, again, people have wandering eyes. Again, I have wandering eyes every time I go to the library. I've been a time, but go to the library, so I like to look around and see who's there. Is any familiar faces I know? So you just never know. So if you are going to sit next and talk to somebody, and you are by yourself, just make sure you come off genuine. Don't come off too forward. I mean, if that's your style, then that's your style. Just know that's like it's like playing with a loaded gun, looking right in your face.
Yeah.
I could shoot you in the
hmm
face, or that could hit your
Yeah.
target.
A
But
good
if you do have
example
friends, yeah,
a good
go
example
on.
of that too is I remember years ago I was on the bus heading to class and like there's just like this dude he kept like trying to talk to this girl and they're near the front of the bus. And I can't remember exactly what he said, but he kept just trying to talk to her or whatever. And the bus driver just called this man out, like he laid him dead. And he was like, "Yo, dude, she's clearly not interested in you." And the whole bus heard it. We're just dying. So I mean,
Jesus.
like that's an example of shooting your shot way too far and then getting pinned down by a circumstance that you didn't see coming. So I mean, like the same thing could happen in class. Like imagine if your professor roasted you for doing that.
Or like,
But so like you gotta know when to approach and when to walk away. Like, don't be doing it in the middle of class. Like, like unless it's like a question, like I said, like that's the only way you're gonna pull that off. But like even then, make it short. And
mm,
then like normally you can like seal the deal with the question. Like you ask them that, and then when class ends, you're like, hey, do you want to study? Like that's just like an
Yeah,
easy way of doing that. Like, like it's just like you have to be cognizant of where you're at. Like you can't just go in that zone and expect people not to see that happening or people to jump into.
mm.
Like I think that's important.
Kind of like what we said about going to the gym and trying to talk to a girl at the gym. Don't just go up to them expecting them to want to talk to you, because they're not. Again, a lot of girls who do go to the gym aren't there to talk to guys and to flirt with guys, because they probably feel like they're not looking their best. So that's probably why
yeah,
you see a lot of girls who go to the gym. I know it was a while ago, but guys, please try to remember. So remember back then when we didn't have Corona, but girls would wear hats. They would tend to like not talk to guys, tend to put
Yeah.
on big headphones and be in their own zone. So again, same thing with the classroom. Hey, just don't come off so strong that it's blatantly obvious what
Yeah,
you're
you
trying
have
to
to be
do.
really subdued. Like, like you have to let go of the expectation of any outcome. Like,
Yeah.
like I think that's a good advice for most things. But especially like in the area like that, like like it's like you have to be just letting go and like kind of detached, like like remember why you're there. Remember that like like this is just one moment. And then it's like if you're so strongly compelled, like you'll get another opportunity and like it'll be easier to break the ice. But I think like that's really what it all is about, like being in a class and trying to flirt is just that. But anyways, with that, does anybody have anything else to add?
I
No,
just want to say one. I just say one small thing. I don't know if you mentioned this yet, but please, guys, I want to say thank you again for all the support you're getting on all our videos. This is I want to say we're trying to get 100 subscribers by the end of May, and if things keep on trending the way it's trending right now, I think we'll crush that goal. So please tell your friends, tell your parents, and please just make this goal come true. Again, we have a certain goal in mind where we're trying to hit, and if we hit that goal, we'll do a special movie review for you guys. One being Velocipastor. A pastor gets turned into a velociraptor. And a favorite of mine that is just really crazy and weird, and the worst ending I've ever seen in my whole entire life is Dracula 3000, where it has Tiny Lister, Debo from Friday. If y'all don't know his name,
Yeah.
and it's a very funny movie. It's Vampires in Space, Dracula 3000. That's what's
Yeah.
off.
Final thing on top of that, I want to say that we're trying this new video format. Just to see, like, we think condensing the main meat and potatoes of a topic into 20 minutes, 25 minutes, like that kind of thing, or even less, might be a good way of retaining viewership. The podcast is still very much alive and well. We may decide to reserve it for guests only, so that might mean one week we have two separate videos coming out of different topics, and then the next week we have a giant podcast. And the feedback we've been getting from everybody is just that the videos are too long. So we want to appeal to that audience, but we also know we have an audience that loves the podcast, and I'm more of a fan of longer form content anyway. So we're still going to do that too, and we're going to reward you by having an even longer show, most likely, when we do a podcast. Just the way the conversation goes. But with that, that's the end of this video. It's me, Benny, signing off. So
It's
see you guys.
me, B-Rad, signing off.
Me, Big Mo, signing off. What's up?
Knives out.
All right. Have a nice day. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.